What accent does a cat have? What's a cat accent? Is it regional or is it just cat?
It's just cat.
Yeah. Isn't that Adam Sandler?
Is Adam Sandler a cat? Is that what you're accusing right now?
He hates comparisons to semi-domesticated animals.
Not another one, says Adam Sandler. Oh, I feel like we can do better. Podcast that comes when it feels like it, and when it's told. I'm Paul Sold.
I'm Per Goodman.
Edging ever closer to the big 100, we tackle one of the most hated superhero movies ever made. Oh, it's a DC property. Interesting.
Oh.
Fancy that?
I don't fancy that.
It's Catwoman.
All my life, I felt powerless. I've never stood up for myself. But then...
You can come out now, it's okay.
I think maybe I'm in the wrong... Everything changed. You died, but you were reborn. By accepting all of who you are, you can be free.
She's very self-confident, almost angry.
Looking back on it now, dying was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Directed by Pitof, a French visual effects supervisor and director.
Now, that's the one time he goes into the directing room. I'm like, well, that's my go.
He just strolled in. Oh, what else in here? Oh, I make Catwoman. A Catwoman movie was in production more or less solidly after the release of Batman Returns, with interested parties gradually falling away until the movie just kind of happened by pure apathy.
Was there one constant? Was there one producer who just wanted a giant spider in it, no matter what?
No, there was no constant. It's kind of like a potato that you put in in an under cupboard, and you come back and it's turned into a horrible tree.
Oh.
Yeah, that was Catwoman. Clean out your cupboards regularly, folks. You're going to get a Catwoman. The film was a commercial, popular, and critical failure.
Yeah.
Andrea Gronville, Chicago Reader said, the screenplay is a hodgepodge of witchcraft, ancient Egyptian lore, pure feminism, and a dash of S&M. And it sounds great when you put it like that.
None of that diluted feminism that we get nowadays. Oh, was that the problem? It was so pure that they could only keep it going for 1 second.
I like feminism without the pulp.
I like mine recycled.
Unpasteurized? Means you just don't put them in a field.
That's how you get salmonella, Paul.
Peter Travers, here we fucking go,
Yay.
at the Rolling Stone, said not to be catty about it, but the stench of the litter pan is all over and then it stops being amusingly tried. He does end by saying meow, though.
Oh, I bet he does. Only a hack would do that.
Oh, the public hacked up oh, there we go. That's good.
Oh, fuck me.
The public hacked up a hefty critical hairball over this one. Erasure Freak over at Amazon said in a review entitled "Nice Outfit, Halle," says entirely in the body of his review, not sure where this is going. The review, the film.
Life.
You get partway through and just decide, I'm going to put one review up now.
Yeah.
And I'll put one up before the end, and then after the end. There's the one before the end just says, I'm hungry.
Are there actually a series of reviews left by this guy over that spread around different Eurasians, different films from different eras, and it's our job actually to find them and put them in some sort of narrative order.
Oh, it's like geocaching, but with reviews of terrible movies.
Shit, yeah. Maybe not even terrible movies. Maybe there's no order to it. Maybe he just hates us. Fuck, I hate this guy now.
A lawnmower,
yeah.
hairdryer. I mean, we could see them all because you just click on his account. You can see all the things he's reviewed. It's a rubbish puzzle.
Oh, don't do that. This is a quest for idiots. who wouldn't think to do that? Who just put on their hat and go to Borneo?
Why? Nothing about that led you there. To Borneo. I'll figure it out when I get there.
You sure? I'm pretty sure it's Borneo.
Look, Borneo. He just points at his own face, saying that. Carl Adams, writing for Google, says, if I can get the mute button to go away, this is not what you want to see in a DC movie. The origin story is off the line. Off the line.
Totally off the line.
It's off the line. It's off the hook. Off the rack. Out of control.
What does off the line mean?
It's not a thing. The villain is laughable. the CGI actress was unpleasant. Oh, I hate that. I hate it when a CGI actress is unpleasant to everyone. It's like, you're not even real. At the very least, I should be getting the first go at the lunch queue. He continues, and Patience Phillips? Really, French director? Really? You do me like this? French director? He has a fucking name. It's 5 letters long. The film has...
I knew Off the Line wasn't a thing. Should be yes and.
Well, yes and better. The film has 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, 3.4 on IMDb, and made $82 million on a $100 million budget, therefore definitively proving that there's no money to be made in movies starring women or blacks or women blacks.
Especially a combination of the two.
I mean, some of the highest grossing movies of that year were I, Robot, Kill Bill, and $1 Million Baby, starring good old-fashioned box office reliable white blokes. Just look at all the money that Catwoman lost. That's $8 million on its production budget alone. That's only a little bit over 10% of the losses of Alexander, starring noted black woman Colin Farrell.
Oh, it was off the line, though.
It was off the line.
It was off the line of one thing at a time. You can't be two things.
Hey,
you can't
man.
be black and a woman.
You're a bit over the hook on that one. Catwoman won 4 Golden Raspberries.
Oh, good.
Including Worst Screenplay,
Yeah.
Worst Director,
Yeah.
Worst Picture,
Yeah.
and of course Worst Actress, which Halle Berry very famously went and picked up herself. She's one of the very few people who have won an Academy Award and a Razzie, so good for her. What a bunch of shit.
Oh, well done her.
I'm sure Eddie Murphy is also on that list.
Oh, alright, great.
Oh no, he didn't win his Oscar, that's right. You gotta space your shit out away from your good
Yeah.
stuff.
Good thing first.
Win that Oscar.
No one's going to take that away from you.
All the shit you want. Look at Robert De Niro. Maybe not.
Not anymore.
There are no 3 men, but I'm very, very pleased to see Byron Mann make a welcome return. He was Ryu in Street Fighter, the movie, and now he returns to us as some guy in some scenes.
But only a woman, so...
Only a 2-man.
Well...
Oh yeah, we don't count... defense.
No, you defended it, sir.
Yeah.
Don't hamstring your favourite actors of all time, Byron Mann,
Favourite actor,
number
Byron
1.
Mann.
Yeah.
Alright, he's a 1-man, unfortunately.
Yeah. 2 strikes and you're out, mate. New rule.
Oh no! 2 strikes and you're a 3-man. What? Yeah. It's the rule.
2019 very soon. Got to update.
We've got to move with the times. Get quicker.
Yeah. Less tolerance.
No room for it. Slows you down. Also, Halle Berry and Michelle Pfeiffer, the 2 Catwomen, were both in New Year's Day. That's not a 3-man thing, but I do think you should write a jingle for it.
Okay. This.
2 at a time, you're a 2's a crowd. I think you're fine, it's not when we got 2 in the pot, that's you.
Oh, it's like your sisters.
Yeah, I'll do. So, Paul, you man sandwich.
Meow.
What's one thing about French director's Catwoman that made you want to be Detective Tonlone?
It was going into any scene and knowing I could listen to some good noughties rock at
Fuck
any
yeah.
moment.
Or R and or B.
And R or B. Yeah, exactly. All the great hits, but not so well known that it was expensive to get the license for any of them.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like Sum 41 or Evanescence. It was Evanescence. Hello, I'm Evanescence.
Dorset-based tribute act to Evanescence.
No, I'm not a tribute band. Who's Evanescence?
I play folk songs. I hate it. All right, Paul. What happens in Catwoman?
Oh, well, in The Catwoman. There's a lot of Catwomen.
There are. We get some lovely insight into the historical context of the Catwomen.
Yeah, because I don't know if you knew this, but there are Catwomen all throughout history.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
Cleopatra, probably.
It's a thing never established. Yeah.
All sneaky.
Yeah, there were a few headlines. Catwomen in capital letters.
Catwoman saves day.
Yeah.
San Francisco Chronicle.
Boudica is a cat? Question mark. In
By
the
the most-
Londinian Reporter.
By the worst fucking academic paper ever assembled. Boudica cat? Question mark. Picture of the student just like,
Marilyn Monroe had a cat or something.
Oh, well, that proves it.
Here's a picture of a cat next to the Kennedy assassination. It's a whole conspiracy, people.
There's a cat behind the grassy knoll.
Yeah. Who's not looking at anything. Who's just pointedly facing the other direction. Licking its balls.
You look carefully.
Or its cat snatch.
Look carefully at a picture of Neil Armstrong on the moon. There's a cat back there.
Poking holes in his spacesuit.
Yeah, that's not conspiracy proving that the moon landings were fake, though. It just proves that there's cats in space.
Yeah.
And that everyone's
Oh, well, we know
covering it
that.
up.
We all know there are cats in space. We've seen the data.
We've seen the data. We've heard of the sightings, the abductions.
The moon mules coming through the space waves. We know this.
The fact that every so often a hillbilly gets abducted and then comes back and he's got a couple of scratches on his arms. We tried to pick one up.
Yeah. Yeah, and it really hurt.
So cute, but don't Don't be lulled.
But that is the first 5 minutes. There's
Yes.
a great R&B / ethnic song that they went for to give the film a sort of a worldly feel.
Oh, I like the ethnic music.
Yeah.
It's very good, isn't it?
You know, it's very...
It's almost like real music.
It's almost like real music, but there are no lyrics. It's just gibberish. and fake instruments.
Our Marjorie likes to play the Gugonzala. That's not a thing. I was aiming for a proper instrument, and that's the only thing I got to.
The Gugonzala?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Paul's not racist.
It's a cheese-based...
A cheese-based...
horn instrument.
Incredibly annoying horn instrument. Used en masse to resemble the sound of a swarming cheese.
Fuck me when you get a cheese swarming. You don't want to know about it! The cheese were meant to be our friends.
The African cheeses are the worst. But with this world of lore established,
I wonder what this world looks like in the modern day.
Yeah, oops, they say, we forgot to do any of that. So here's a drawing that Pitof made. And
Here's a drawing he made out of Sunny Delight.
And I found an old Storm X-Men figurine. I just put a little cap on her, and look, he just throws her across the painting. Look at her go, everyone.
Awkwardly against and falls off.
Yeah.
Best special effects I've ever seen. Yeah, so we set up our main character, Patience Prudence or whatever, and she works for a cosmetic manufacturer who have invented a new face slime that reverses aging. It's owned by Sharon Stone and the Merovingian.
Yes.
Also, her best friends are Lois Griffin and an unnamed sassy gay friend who also works there.
Patience, have I taught you nothing? You never beat a guy at sports. It messes him up.
Hey, man sandwich, 12 o'clock.
Yeah, but only for the first 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
He was fired. Prejudice.
Oh no! And then he goes off and is Philadelphia. Lois uses the anti-aging cream and gradually gets sicker throughout, thereby demonstrating that the cream is in fact toxic. I'm not going to work that into our summary of the narrative because the writers didn't.
Patience Phillips has French Nick Cage for a boss.
I do not reward incompetence. I have no idea why I expected your art to show better taste than your wardrobe.
Because she's got to do a whole bunch of unreasonable things very, very quickly. She's got to finish the file, whatever that was. She's got to draw something.
Yes, this shade of red he picked, he wants it darker.
Yes.
Couldn't I just do that in an instant? No, do it again. And drop it by my sinister laboratory at midnight. Yeah, so that's one of the things Patience has going on. The other thing is that she almost dies trying to save a dumbass cat.
Yeah.
And is rescued by a hunky cop.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Lone.
Tom Lone.
It's a very enjoyable name to say.
I want to have you out on Tom Lone.
Eh? So he saves her and he's in her life now.
Yeah, he's in her life now. He manages to cleverly figure out who she is, using the only clues of everything that's in her apartment, because that's where she left him.
Yeah. And then she goes off to do the thing. She
Yeah.
goes to deliver the file.
Yes, to Sinister Laboratory.
Sinister Laboratory, in which she hears the Merovingian and probably Sharon Stone.
I don't know
forget
if the
now.
Merovingian's there. I think he's off bonking the young model. I think it's just Sharon
The
Stone.
Merovingian, Sharon Stone. No, I don't know.
Oh, well. Well, I tell you who is there. Hi, Byron Mann. See you once later.
When's it going to be? How many times is once?
How many once mores? 3. She escapes. She's chased down a corridor by some terrible noughties action music.
Corridors that don't necessarily connect. Or rooms that don't necessarily intersect either. But then she's in a pipe.
The editing is so bad she can't get away.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now I'm further behind again. Fucking editing.
They realise she's in the pipe.
Yeah. She gets flushed away, like that movie, The Fugitive. She's dead.
And not one to pass up an opportunity. A cat comes in and starts to play around with a dead body.
Yes, a rubbish-looking...
Hoping I can leave it on a doorstep somewhere.
Some rubbish-looking cats come and sick up some life into her.
Yeah.
So now she has superpowers, like the ability to see terrible CGI seagulls.
James Wen, eat your heart out. They're no better than that.
$1 million picture.
And eventually all the CGI cats become real cats when they've got to stop doing very specific things. And then here she is, and she's a bit catty now, and she does very catty things.
Like
falling
off of stuff.
And smashing a window with a fist to get it back into her apartment.
Like a cat. All the subtlety and grace of a cat. She decides that the cat that keeps hanging around is some way to do with this, so she finds her owner, an insane old woman who tells her that the cat she didn't save. She didn't even save. Cat was fine. Didn't know her anything. Cat's name is Midnight, by the way. He rescued her and gave her superpowers, because cats do that sometimes when they're not chewing on their own assholes and falling off things.
Yeah. Sometimes they breathe all that arsehole dust into your mouth when you're dead. And, hey presto. Bye-bye. She continues to do catty things like snapping at her boss really unreasonably, but definitely reasonably, and then getting really mopey and self-pitying.
And getting herself fired, much to everybody's delight.
Yeah. Who thinks she's a fucking legend now, despite the fact that she's almost cried when the Merovingian left.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for every second I wasted working for an untalented, unethical egomaniac like you.
You're a jerk. I hate you. Oh God, what have I done? Please, no, don't fire me, you fucking asshole. Please, no. Please. Please. Please go fuck yourself, you ugly son of a bitch. No, please, let me keep this job. I need it so that I can regularly remind myself of what a prick you are. I didn't mean that. Please. Sweet God, I have nothing. Very much like your face.
Just like you didn't mean that whole face thing that you've got going on. It must be tough being a dick, please.
At this stage, Hunky Cop is chilling out in a Michael Bay movie, judging from the colour temperature and camera movements.
Yep, and once he's recovered from his severe dizziness and nausea...
and his fear of Shia LaBeouf, who could be around any corner. He hooks up with her, and they do some poorly edited erotic basketball in front of some children.
Yeah, they do, and the kids love this.
They love it. It's scandalous by Mystique. Also, at some point, she gives him a coffee cup with "sorry" written on it. Earlier, I think.
Yeah, that's she's nice, like cats. Yeah, so that's great. That she's now established that she's great at basketball. Did she do a dunk?
Yeah, she did a dunk.
I think she did
a
sweet
dunk. She did one dunk.
She was showboating a lot.
Oh fuck! She was walking with the ball. She was over the line. I don't know any of the terms for basketball.
She was over the line. She was rolling the line.
Well, after that, she's going to explore her new powers by doing some low-intensity parkour around her flat.
Yes.
Destroying a legitimate small business across the road from her that happened to be annoying her. And foiling a cat-themed bank robbery.
That's true.
She takes some jewels, but brings them back the next day with a note that says sorry, because her leather outfit is like the mask. She puts it on, and she just does crimes and then regrets it when she wakes up. She did turn into CGI a lot, and use the phrase smoking.
She did. It didn't make a lot of sense as a cat, but I see what they were going for now.
This was a mask movie. Hunky Cop is looking pensive at his desk when suddenly it occurs to him that the identical fucking notes with sorry written in the exact same way might have been written by the same person. To the fucking lab to prove
To the lab, because he's not sure. He's not completely sure.
We get a hilarious enhanced shot of the two sorries right next to each other. Very obviously exactly the same.
And pretty sure the expert there was inconclusive also.
Were they written by the same person?
Well, it's not an exact science. But this first one, the broad spacing of the letters, indicative of loneliness. And the O, reaching out, insecure, handwriting of a people pleaser. Now, we look at the loop of the Y, very self-confident, almost angry. And the O, well, this person doesn't like to play by all the rules.
So they're different people.
Very. If you put these two women in the same room, you're gonna have one hell of a party.
If these two women are about as unalike as you can imagine, if you got them alone in a room together, it'd be pretty hot. What? Sorry. You're a scientist.
I may be a scientist, but I'm still a human.
I'm just trying to bond with you, Tom Lone.
Yeah.
Who are you? What are you about? You keep bringing me coffee cups.
Tom Lone walks alone.
Tom Lone walks alone. Catwoman...
She does some catting. She does some investigating.
She does some investigating by watching the opening credits again. She goes back to Insane Catwoman to complain about the superpowers she's had, only to be told that she's actually DC's Catwoman.
Oh no!
Which Cat Lady proves by pushing her over a banister to a 40-foot fall. Her fall is slightly broken by the pile of dead women that she's already thrown down there, who turned out not to be Catwomen.
But I mean, she does land palms down on the dead women.
Yeah,
so
it proves it.
She's obviously Catwoman. And then, like a cat, she takes a bite out of one of the dead bodies, and then drops it in the mouth of another dead body.
She shits in crazy Catwoman's shoes.
Yeah.
And then knocks over several things on her way out.
And she went, I know why you're here. You typed cats *women in Google, didn't you? Yes, I did. And she goes off, and she's like, well, okay, I guess I'm going to go and do sleuthing things.
I've got another night spot to ruin.
Yeah.
She dresses up in an obscene costume and does some CGI jumping about.
Yep.
She follows a guy to a nightclub and does a sexy dance, just like Batman would.
Yeah. Brilliant.
With a whip.
But not as good as Batman would.
No, not as seductively.
He's trained his whole life.
Depending on who's playing him. I mean, Ben Affleck, forget about it. He'll do a burly dance.
Ben Affleck is a sexy dance. His whole life has been one long sexy dance.
The whole thing is just a cacophony of muscle slapping against muscle.
That's disgusting. I don't know why. But it is.
It's the wrongest righteous thing you'll ever see.
Oh, that's it, because she died. That's it. I forget that she died. So she wants to sort of avenge her own death.
Yes. Yeah, so she's followed one of the guys who killed her, who she found because
Phil from Modern Family.
Well, at this point, only after she's interrogated Phil from Modern Family does she sneak back into the place where she was killed, which would probably have been high on the list of investigation destinations for me, if I were DC's Catwoman.
Investigation Destination?
Yeah.
That's your first solo album when we break up. And it's just you half sitting on a stool, looking straight at camera. And you've got a cat.
But it's an album. That's not the album cover. That's the content of the album. It's sonically, it works somehow. It's amazing. The depth, the richness. It's like a Tom York album.
And that's the NME review. So she goes back to this place, and there's a scientist is dead.
There's a dead scientist. And Buster Bluth shows up and thinks she did it.
oh no, like any good DC superhero, everyone now thinks she's the twat.
Yeah.
Who does the killing.
That does happen a lot to DC, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking
and
hell.
I guess Marvel, if you include all the TV shows.
I guess.
That was a thing.
Oh,
they did
yeah,
for a
that's
while.
true. Yeah, that kept happening.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Yeah. God, fuck everything.
Fuck everything.
She's a criminal now.
How's she gonna
How's she gonna prove her innocence? Well, maybe wait for the cop to prove your guilt first.
Yeah.
That's taking a while.
Well, she's going to start by going to the fun fair with that cop.
Oh, yeah.
They run into Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr. It's horrible. I realise at this stage that I don't know the proper term for those big wheels you get at fun fairs. And I find out by Googling the first episode of Season 3 of Bottom. It's a Ferris wheel.
It's a Ferris wheel, Paul. The thing that everyone knows.
The thing that Richie and Eddie get stuck in the first episode of Season 3 of Bottom.
Oh, yeah, okay. Cool. Well, they're in one of those, and it breaks, much like the one from season 3, episode 1, whatever, Bottom. But unlike Richie and Eddie in Bottom, they don't start insulting the carnies or talking about great birds they've shagged. Tom alone works alone. He climbs down the Ferris wheel and he starts smashing the mechanisms with a big spanner to save the people.
This is gonna work, I bet. Halle Berry just quietly gets everybody off of the thing.
Yeah, I just did it. Let's just
get you off. Tom Lone.
We're doing a second, love.
I've never seen a problem yet that I can't solve by smashing something.
And then he turns back to the cup and the handwriting.
What does this mean? Smash, smash, smash.
He's very impressed with her.
Yeah, man.
Because
she just saved several people's lives. Oh, well done.
Yeah, thanks. Nicely done, love.
That's a good date.
And she goes, yeah, I'm pretty impressed with how you climbed down and you took the initiative and smashed the things.
You took the initiative. You lacked the ability and the know-how and the experience. But what you lacked in all of those things, you made up for in Tom Lone.
Yeah. A for effort.
A for effort.
Not A+.
You did stop for a donut. I noticed that.
Yeah.
I know you didn't think I noticed that, but I noticed that. You're eating it now. I mean... Some class, mate.
Come on. Honestly,
come on, Tom Lone. You're better than this.
Pull your trousers up. Your belt's done the thing again.
What are you doing? Stop fucking that donut. Eyes on the prize, sir. 2 scenes away from shagging me.
Oh, he says. Well, I better raise my game very briefly then. So they have some more interactions with Catwoman and Tom Lone, and he genuinely can't fucking tell that this is Halle Berry.
Yes, well, there's some investigation stuff. Catwoman goes from Sharon Stone to husband, and then she has a sexy fight with Hunky Cop in an opera. And then later has sex with him, only not as Catwoman. But no, he finds her Dominique claw on the ground. To the fucking lab!
And he's still not sure.
And he's...
How could... What a fucking coincidence!
Every woman has these. I wish I knew more. I wish I had more female friends I could ask about this. Hey, love. Hey, Sandra. Do you have Dominique cat claws? I'm blocking your number.
Tick. Okay, that's 1 down.
Mum? Anyway, Catwoman is lured to the house by Sharon Stone, where Sharon Stone has killed the Merovingian and framed her.
Oh, no.
Kind of. Hunky Cop busts in, sees this, and is like, beginning to suspect you might be Catwoman. To the lab.
And he's like, cuts to the lab. He's like, you didn't even bring me anything this time.
I just need your help.
Or he's got the Merovingian in his arms. This is getting fishy, guys.
I'm beginning to suspect something here. It looks like this cat has claws. Just go arrest Halle Berry. Do your fucking job, Tom Lone.
He's talking to a screensaver.
She goes to jail and then she escapes. It's thrilling.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
She slips through the bars.
Cinematic gold.
Nice.
Oh, Christ. A car gently taps her on the butt because... French director?
You've seen.
I've seen Orphy by Jean Cocteau. I know how it goes. She breaks back into the main office of her cosmetic business. Hi, Byron Mann. Thanks for being in the movie.
Bye, Byron Mann.
Sharon Stone and Catwoman fight for the rest of the movie. It's about 15 minutes.
Yeah, she can't be hurt because her product line, Bayoline, is making everyone else sick, but it makes her super strong.
Yes.
No, not super strong, super nothing.
Well, the idea is if you
nothing.
keep using it, then it makes you super strong, but you can't feel anything. But if you stop using it, you go all weird face. Except Lois from Family Guy, she's fine.
Because she got sick because she was using it, and then when she stopped, she was fine.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the opposite for her.
And
for everyone else,
yeah.
that's the way it should.
And there was that complaint that they were talking about earlier where they had the woman with the horrible facial scars.
Yeah, she stopped using it. She kept using it.
Yeah, but then she was fine. But apart from those two, everyone else, including Sharon Stone...
apart from the two examples the film gives, it's very consistent.
Yeah. Sharon Stone is super nothing.
Wait, I gave you my gun now.
Day Diggs walks in.
Hang on a minute, I think I figured it out. I gave him... Oh no, shit.
I gave you my cream. And Sean Bean... And he just cuts to him and he's dead. Because he stopped using the cream.
Yes, but he'll be beautiful forever.
Yeah.
That's the trade-off. Okay, so she wins. Catwoman kicks Sharon Stone to her death. Well, she tries to save her, but half-heartedly. Like, grab my hand, or don't,
Yeah.
I don't know. We're getting near the
I
end.
was super strong too. Near the end.
Yeah, she writes Hunky Cop a letter, and then she awkwardly and uncomfortably slinks off into the moonlight. Oh.
Yeah, and then the sound, the very audible sound of a very attractive woman just thrusting and pumping to R&B can be heard, and that becomes the song. Is the end credits.
And it's also accompanied by the sound of audiences just standing and leaving. Weirdly, I could hear that.
The hollow sound of people's cheeks as their mouths close. Finally.
The dull thud of seats slapping shut.
The commuters trudge out of the cinema into the drudgery of life.
Commuters, like the job was to come and watch Catwoman, and now they must file out.
Well, you know what, Paul? Of all 98 episodes that we've done so far, it's only fucking felt like a job.
It really did. So, yeah, this wasn't great.
No, it's bad.
No. I spent some of it, quite a fair bit of it, laughing. Some of it is laughably bad. It's dated quite poorly. It's in that sort of ballistic X versus Sever era. 2004, This is the year before Batman Begins, and I think it's the same year as the first... Is it the same year as the first Fantastic Four? 2005.
That's funny. That's great how that works out.
Yeah, it really...
There's a whole team of people involved in those movies who watched Batman Begins and went, oh...
Pitof watched that and was just like, oh, I see.
It's so derivative.
Of me.
Pitof. He's like all his other films, they're so intelligent and dark.
Look at Christian Bale's sexy dance. It's exactly like mine.
Can't hear us sing.
Whoa. And the night. So
weapons. It's
where drugs going.
On the spectrum, it is on the spectrum, it is here. It is not so bad it's good. And it's not Battlefield Earth bad.
No, it's not. I'll say I wasn't bored. I was underwhelmed by what it was trying to do, but I wasn't bored by it because there was always some...
It wasn't too long.
Occasionally, I had to look away from the screen, and I think we have to delve into this. It's terribly edited. My word. I mean, action sequences, of course, it's overcut. It's all the things you don't want to do with action. It's disorientating. It's impossible to see. Not only is it cutting on every, movement, it's cutting several times on every movement. I don't think you ever see an impact. Ever. And
it's the same with the basketball scene as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no evidence that a basketball game was being played.
Yeah, but even more bafflingly, it's like that during conversations. There's an awful lot of the Michael Bay sort of panning going on with the background.
The directing is also a problem.
Yeah, the background flying past, just disorientating, spinning, which, as has been pointed out, is
nauseating.
Meant to be used to add emphasis to something that is said, but gets used just when they're flirting with each other. It's a hodgepodge of just early noughties, bad directorial styles, really.
Yeah, throw in a bit of green screen, and you've got your dated
the worst,
early noughties.
The worst CGI you've ever seen. You could tell they were inspired by Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, and they wanted Catwoman sort of jumping around in the same way that he did. But that looks bad too. At least it's in a good film.
The parkour would have been a better way to do it, I think. And if Halle Berry can't do it, then I just get fucking someone who isn't Halle Berry.
Oh, I didn't mind Halle Berry in this. I've got to say,
I did.
I didn't. I quite liked her shy character early on, the sort of frumpy Berry.
First, it's only coffee, and second, I will never, ever, ever wear that leather outfit.
And I liked her sort of confident self. It's just that the script they gave her was so bad, with these constant puns and...
Cat got your tongue?
Very unsexy dialogue that was meant to be sexy, and I don't quite necessarily just like the idea that, very much like Sucker Punch, just... sexiness obviously can be empowering, but here, sexiness is the empowerment. Her superpower is that she's sexy now.
Whereas with Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, for example...
Yeah, that's just a part of her character.
It just so happens that she is, but I think it's the confidence and her sort of... the way she lives life that adds to that. It's not just, now you can see her belly button.
Yeah.
Because she's wearing that revealing top.
Oh, God, that outfit was
ridiculous. And the slinky walk-in was ridiculous.
It looked terrible. Just...
I kept thinking of Green Wing. I know what you're doing, Rachel. When you said Spider-Man, I thought you were going to say Sound of Thunder. it was that bad. There was one shot where she was slinking away, but it was obviously a green screen because the background wasn't moving. There was no tracking.
Yeah.
We were treated to about 100 separate city shots, all of which were just terrible garbage CGI.
Yeah,
and they
really
kept
bad.
using them for establishing. Why would you do that?
And the problem is, apart from the terrible CGI, they're also moving really quickly through it. And the quicker you move the camera, the less substantial it feels.
Yes.
And it becomes a real problem.
You actually just didn't need to do it to establish every scene that was set in the city.
No, well, just imagine we're still there.
Yeah.
It had me really depressed thinking about again Christopher Nolan's establishing shots and the way that he establishes the city, in these crisp, cool, the sense of place.
Boom.
Yeah.
And
just
bam, Gotham.
The contrast here is just obscene.
Just so much unnecessary CGI. The problem is that a CGI person always looks CGI.
Yeah, but that's not a lesson that people really wanted to hear at that stage.
Yeah.
That took some time before we really sort of came around to that idea.
Yeah, well, they fucking should have.
They should have, because it really is a stain on a lot of films of that period.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man films from back then, the Matrix films, the sequels, that is, have far too much of that sort of thing, and it's unfortunate because it's very noticeable. I'm sure there's some good films that have it as well. I'm trying to think. There are probably some great films that have some terrible CGI shots from the early noughties.
And it's very interesting when we put it in this context, because there is a whole series of films that are making the same mistakes now.
Sure.
And it's fucking DC films.
Yes, even though, and in spite of my cheeky opening comment, there's nobody involved in Catwoman 2004 who were also involved in...
Oh, no.
In Batman vs. Superman.
No, of course. But it is interesting that the same mistakes are made.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, Catwoman should serve as a warning.
Yeah.
But it looks like Justice League.
Yeah, it's very silly. And it just lends itself to a sense of incredulity, which, seems ridiculous when you're talking about a fantasy film, but you do need to buy into the unreality.
Well, you need sense of place and time. Even if it's the year 4000 of Middle-earth, If we're in Gotham, I mean, I couldn't even tell this was set in Gotham. It could have just been set in Chicago.
Yeah.
There was nothing distinguishing about the city.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, there was no sense of place, and it was pretty awkward, and it didn't have much of a sense of fun to... I mean, I did enjoy seeing, Patience as sort of kind of relatable... I mean, it's a fairly conventional narrative, really, in terms of presenting a fairly unassertive... relatable, kind, but ultimately passive character, and then having them turn into a much more assertive character by the end. But it's very much just like Patience disappears at some point, and we just get a completely different character.
Yeah.
There's no consistency to the way that she's written, really. There's no through line. There's not a great sense early on that Catwoman is within her, just desperate to burst out. It's just an abrupt about face when they take off her frumpy jumper.
It's the she's all that.
Yeah.
Remove the glasses and suddenly she's sexy and confident. It's if I remove my glasses, I can't see.
I'm so sexy and whoops! Stairwell. Another stairwell. God, he was handsome, but it's just so fucking clumsy.
Oh well, I'll fuck him when he's dead.
Whoa.
You're absolutely right, and if there's no sense of place, there's no sense of character either. There's just it's unrestrained without posing limitations on the characters and what they can do. Which again, Justice League, but
I'd forgive an awful lot of this if the action were better. If there were actual fight scenes that I could follow and enjoy and choreography that I could really get behind quite a bit of this. Because I think, if I remember correctly, and I haven't watched it in an awfully long time, I think the Daredevil movie, the 2003, Daredevil movie with Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck, which we should probably cover one of these days, so that the DC fanboys won't think we're laying too heavily into it.
Fuck them.
But
I hate them.
I hate all of them. I think that movie had better fights. I seem to remember there was a really cool fight between Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck, outside of their costumes in a basketball court, ironically. Yeah.
When she thinks she's just fighting a blind man.
Yeah. I seem to remember that being well choreographed. I might be completely wrong on this one. I might try and find it whilst I'm talking.
You know what? It has 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's an extra 38%, I think, on Catwoman, and it's probably because of things like that.
Just some vague ability to see action sequences. This is going to be live I didn't direct this. It's going to be live commentary now on the Jennifer Garner fight sequence. Wow, he is grabby. He just grabbed her hand. Ooh, that was
He's blind though.
It's okay when blinds do it. That was a terrible sound effect. Oh wow, this is naughties. Ooh, it's awkward.
Is it better than Catwoman?
Yes, because it's not cutting 10 times a minute. Look at Ben Affleck smirking. It's so weird seeing someone who's not Charlie Cox playing this now.
Yeah.
Sure you're blind? Yeah, you're pretty blind. Oh, is this when he throws his fucking cane into the air, whips off his jacket, and then grabs the cane? Yeah, it is that.
I do see a picture of him holding his hand out. Is he doing a Matrix thing?
Yes, he is. This is so dumb.
Aww.
But it is... You can see what's happening.
That will get you a lot of percents.
What's happening is awkward, but you can see it.
Interesting. I like.
Jennifer Garner's really pretty. Okay, I'm going to stop.
So that established.
We can go forward. There were some things we liked, and maybe we should move on to those.
I think so.
Okay, let's quickfire. Yeah, like I said, I like Frumpy Berry. I like the hairstyle and the clothes they've given her. It's sold. I believed her as a person, as a slightly quirk-eye.
Yep.
Slightly quirk-eye.
Quirk-eye lady.
Why, I bought it.
When Tom Lone has saved her and she's late to her meeting or whatever, and she goes to push him out. She pushes him out in a very cartoon, head down, hands square on his back.
Yeah.
Get out of my house,
officer. A good bit of visual. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Nice.
Visual storytelling. Visual by Dominique. Good bit of visual storytelling is how it gets you to notice the time, because the Merovingian very carefully announces that the project must be done by midnight, and so we need to know that she's running close to the wire. So after the very awkward sort of sped up Blade style office scene, we zoom in, and the screensaver of a computer that's not on her desk but is very prominently in the foreground is moving around in fast motion, and it's the time on it. So the quick motion makes you look at the monitor, and then when time slows down, you see that it says 11:43 or whatever. That was really effective. It was an effective way of getting me to know what time it was without having a character say, "But it's 11:43." Uh-oh!
4 now. It's changed.
It changed halfway through that line. Sorry, I couldn't correct in time.
I wrote down, good boots, Uma. Sharon Stone looks a little bit like Uma Thurman at times at the beginning of this movie. And she's wearing good boots. So that's the magic behind that line.
When she's getting blasted out of the pipes, I was very surprised that she got hit by water. Maybe I missed the line where she tells Byron Mann to flush her out with water, but I was expecting just a whoosh of air to blow her out, but then when a massive amount of water suddenly just hits her, that took me by surprise. I liked it.
Yeah, cool. I guess it's just the switch that they press. They don't know if it's water or air. It could be fire. It could be ants. It could be fire ants.
Oh, we've lost our whole ant deposit. It takes ages to build up. You put them in one at a time. Go get them. Oh.
Do you know how many ants it takes to fill an industrial-sized pipe? Enough to kill a human being.
Enough to flush a berry.
Is it more than 20? I'm going to tell you what, Byron, man. It is more than 20.
You're right on the money there. You don't know how right you are with that one.
You're right on the Byron Manny. Tom Lone, says Tom Lone, in a very good way.
Detective Long. Tom.
Almost indistinguishable from the breath that is expelled whilst he says Tom Lone. It just sort of, the two merge.
It's like liquid butter.
It is. It's hard to say where his name ends and his rest of his life begins.
I like the fact that when she goes to visit the crazy old woman, there's a big ginger cat on the sofa.
Yeah.
The big goofy dumb-looking cat just squat on the sofa with his big bushy face. That was cute. Meh.
How's Bar here?
I don't give superpowers to anyone.
My superpower's not giving a fuck. There was 2 seconds of good camera work in that whole whirlwind of shit there, where she snaps up in bed from a dream or something, and the camera stops swishing about like a fucking drunken bastard in order to snap up in the same sort of sudden movement that she has when she wakes. Is it like conveying something, like in a film?
I thought that Halle Berry's low-intensity parkour around her living room was actually quite good.
Yeah.
Like, she quite effortlessly and very gracefully is sort of jumping up on the furniture and hopping onto the bed and down again. It was good.
That was nice. CGI sofa, though. They actually used a cow. And
everything was CGI except Halle Berry.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot about this sort of female empowerment supposed movie that one of the biggest laughs I had came from a sexist joke from the cop where he was talking about his wife. It's like, Tom Lone says, hey, would your wife go out on a ledge in order to rescue a cat? Maybe that cat was holding a pizza.
Just fuck yeah.
The smoothness of it, really. it got me. You got me, Bernard Manning.
Yeah, look, the old one's the best. And sometimes it can be a little bit sexist.
Sometimes a fat wife joke is just what you need to get you up in the morning.
Is it sexist, or is it just a good old-fashioned fat joke, which we all love? It's never an issue ever. It's funny as long as the person telling the joke is fat themselves. Great.
He wasn't. He was gorgeous. I fucking fell in love with him immediately. It was not Bubbles from The Wire.
Oh yeah, of course it was. He was a fucking statue of a man.
He was.
A good one.
He can be a good thing.
Not one that I'd make.
He can be a joint.
Yeah.
A good one.
Halle Berry did a good purr, but the line surrounding it was the shittest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I might take issue with this one. Is this when she's foiling the cat-themed bank robbery?
Maybe.
I think she gave it a bit too much German. I think that what you need to do with a good purr is roll your R's, and I feel like she gave it a bit too... What a perfect idea.
I heard R, sir. I heard a tongue...
Well, let's sample here.
What a perfect idea.
Turns out Paul was right.
We can say that for sure.
Paul wins.
I really like the shot of her just before she goes into the opera, I think, where she's sort of reflected in a whole bunch of mirrors. Very stylish.
Oh, yeah.
She looks
that
good.
was good.
Perfectly white, but with a very sort of black silhouette, kind of walking across these various mirrors. It looked great.
It's good, like in John Wick or something.
Yeah.
I liked the one fight scene that where Catwoman could suddenly fight in capoeira. Capoeira. Hi. It was fun, and you could tell when the camera wasn't cutting madly that there was someone there who actually...
Oh, no, she learned. She did train. So,
did Halle Berry do her own stunts? Do her own fighting?
Maybe not own stunts, but she did know some capoeira. So
okay, well...
she may well have been doing some spinning about down
Then
there.
that's a good thing.
Oh, I like the way that she really smoothly scratches the Merovingian's face.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of... It's very smooth. It's a good motion.
Nice. One scene, oh, that's it. When she's locked up and the cop closes the door behind her, he goes, "You be a nice kitty now." And she goes... and he kind of goes,
You also mentioned that you quite liked her hissing at the dogs when they were barking at her early on in the film.
Yes, that's it. I did have hiss down, but I couldn't remember what it was about. That's it. She hisses at dogs, and I really enjoyed that. Yeah. I liked her cat sounds.
I liked her.
She did good cat sounds.
I genuinely quite liked Berry in this, and I feel like it's kind of undeserving that she... I feel it's really unfair that the Rotten Tomatoes kind of singled her out.
Golden Raspberries?
Yep.
Not Rotten Tomatoes.
No, not them at all. Imagine saying them when you meant the other. That'd be terrible. What a dumbass.
Oh, what a loser. Meow, perfect. I'm Pearl Goodman. So she was pretty good as Frumpy Berry. I really didn't like her Catwoman stuff, but I think it is dialogue, it's script, directing, and everything. And I think. But the delivery...
her performance as Catwoman, I thought was all right. She was sassy and...
I thought it was too sass.
Full on.
It was too sass for me.
Oh, no.
It was so sass that the words stopped sounding like real words. Everything was like not quite a word or an accent.
Life is like a box of cat women. Get off my bench! Well, my final good thing is that the Merovingian, I should probably know his name.
Not Vincent Cassel.
Not Vincent Cassel. What would that be in French? Vincent Cassel pas.
Ne Cassel pas.
Non Vincent Cassel pas. Lambert Wilson.
Lambert Wilson. It's a pretty good name.
Here's the thing about Lambert Wilson, is he's got a fabulous set of eyebrows on him.
He has.
And he's gonna do the whole world for you with those eyebrows. But my particular favourite was after saying a particularly sassy line to his female accompaniment.
I think this is a total waste of time.
Don't
What?
think ever. Consider it a condition of our relationship.
Who's not his wife, Sharon Stone. Scandal. Scandalous by Mystique. He just rests his face onto his finger, like shoving his eyebrow up, and has a really satisfied smile. The closest I can think of is it reminds me of like Lester Burnham. When he's just stood up to his wife.
Yeah.
Who confronted him over masturbating in bed.
Yeah.
And he just turns over like...
Yeah.
That was the Merovingian smile when he's just gotten his really attractive date to leave. No sex for me later.
Fuck you, everyone.
Oh, great. Did we get anything from the OG team? Yeah, get out of it.
We actually had two things from the OG team. Tomb!
Oh, shit.
So the Valkyries, but with lights and baubles, at Valkyrie's blog, said straight up, love me all those different cats. And there were a lot of different cats. There's a tabby.
Yeah.
There was a Scottish fold, probably. There was a Canadian fold.
Cornish blue.
Yeah, an Australian racist. And a
Swiss cheese.
The Swiss cheese.
Swiss cheese cat.
An exploding cat.
Love those.
All the cats.
Oh, my aunt had one of those when she was still alive.
How did she die?
She got hit by a bus.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Cat was driving it, though. And I don't have a fucking license. That's the wipers, listeners at home.
Listeners at home, that was the wipers of the bus. Somehow cleaning up the exploding cat remains from the outside.
I was doing your aunt's gored
viscera.
remains.
I see.
And that's out of the bus, you fuck.
I anticipated that the cat would have exploded shortly after having committed the heinous act.
No, he went on to live a long life before exploding in some other idiot's face.
Exploding of old age. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry, everyone, but Uncle Exploding Cat has died. He exploded gently in his sleep.
Did you put him in the box? Yeah, I put him in the box beforehand. As is cat tradition.
Cat tradition. We're now just going to go kick him up a hedge. So that some neighbour kids can be really traumatised by him. So spaketh the cat lord.
Optimus Prime 99 at Optimus Prime 99.
Yeah.
He sent us a GIF. He hashtagged as well, in a hashtag iconic.
Nice.
And it's a lovely GIF of Halle doing a dunk. And now I see it again. It's so much better and more poetic.
It's so much better as an isolated, repeated clip, with the repeats meaning that you can actually get a chance to see what's happening.
I don't mean better like that.
Oh, okay.
She flies through the air like magic. It cuts to the kids, who in unison look up at the ring and gasp in awe. And then her face closes in on the camera. And then she dunks. And then she lands on Tom Lone like a lion. And it's just... it really is fucking dumb.
Outside of the context of this dumb movie, it's a very admirably dumb moment.
Thanks, OG team.
Thanks, OGT, Exploding Cat. Let's talk about the one better thing. The one better thing.
Well, for me, it's got to be Wonder Woman, hasn't it? That's how you prove a point, everyone. You get a director with a surname for a start, And like Pitof, Patty Jenkins has one. She has directing chops too. She did Monster. That was a good film.
Yeah.
You get the feeling that she would come to directing a film with a message, and the message is that Wonder Woman is a coherent, cohesive film with a strong through line of doing what is right and wondering what Chris Pine's penis looks like. It's a great origin story and is so much more sophisticated than its DC contemporaries. Gal Gadot is perfect for the role. There are real sets, great supporting cast. It looks great for the most part. The action is satisfying, and the humor actually works. So it's the opposite of Catwoman.
I also would like to have a female superhero, please. But the thing is, there's so many great ones in the MCU. It's just that they're not front and center, annoyingly. I mean, you can go back. You've got the Wasp, who's played brilliantly by Evangeline Lilly, even if she's not quite given enough to do. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok is fucking superb. The longest running, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Who else is here? Pick any fucking character from Black Panther who's not the Black Panther, and you've got a really great female superhero, especially his sister. Let me get her name. Letitia Wright as Shuri. She's great, and I was really happy she showed up again in Infinity War. Anyone else? Oh, Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, Captain Marvel. I love that film.
Yeah, and retrospectively love that film. Yeah, you've got all these great characters. It's just they're all scattered around. How great would it be to have a sort of one movie team up of all of them? Let's hope.
Then we've got Jessica Jones, I suppose.
She's great. Let's hope that's where all of this is going. But let's leave Marvel and come back to DC, because we've talked an awful lot of shade about it. And let's have a word about the Catwoman who worked. And that would be Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns, and I believe somewhat underratedly Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, totally.
Oh, what? Do you like something about a Christopher Nolan film, Pauls? Yes, actually.
Yes, now shut up. Again.
He was alone. I really like Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. She's this character who has a very clear idea of what she wants at the beginning and ends up being challenged for her sort of self-interest and sees the wider context of her actions. It's a fairly conventional superhero story, but she has a lot of charm to her as she's playing it. I love the sort of tricks that she has. My favourite is when she's just effortlessly taken out a bunch of guys in a trade-off with her gun, and she's got some great moves as well.
Yeah.
Police are storming in, and she just immediately transforms into a sort of screaming bystander who sinks down, sort of sobbing until the police walk past, at which point she just snaps out of it in a second and just walks out of there. It's really satisfying to see the way in which men underestimate women sort of used against them. It's really cool.
That's what makes her more like a cat, not saying perfect. And
cats are always doing that.
Yeah. Well, cats are fucking insidious snakes of creatures.
What cats do is that they'll do something really fucking dumb and then just immediately look them like the most dignified thing on earth. It's why I love them so much. I'm a cat person, and I love them because they're so graceful looking and so beautiful and, you know, the perfect thing that was ever created, and cute and adorable, and they're dumb as fuck. It's great. They fall off shit, they get stuff stuck around their neck and run about the house. They're idiots.
And they're judgmental. Stupid judgmental pricks, and I love them. I used to be a cat person, but I find as I get older and become more anxious and aware of death, I prefer dogs. I want love, constant love. I demand it.
Yeah, you're not going to get that from a cat.
Or from this podcast.
I'm happy enough to just have a relationship with a cat where every so often I'll just see it, and it'll be nice.
Yeah.
And then it'll be another month.
Yeah. And you go, oh, hey, kitty.
And the only time you're aware of its existence is the fact that the food bowl keeps emptying somehow.
Yeah. It shows up for love, and you can give love and feel good about giving love. And they'll do something, and you'll go, oh, and that's it.
They'll look like the most incredibly sort of dignified thing on earth. Then they'll fall on their back and just look like...
Yeah. And then they'll bite your eye and hang from your face like a weasel.
It's like being in a relationship with a Scot. It's just brilliant. Anyway, so yes, the other Catwoman projects we highly recommend. It is a shame that Michelle Pfeiffer didn't get a chance to have a second outing as Catwoman, because she did a really good job as this sort of deranged, unhinged Catwoman. No, maybe not quite the icon of empowerment, considering she's just a woman with mental health issues who spends most of it hysterically crying and screaming. But that's Tim Burton. She's still really cool.
I can't wait for the Netflix spin-off. Michelle Pfeiffer and Anne Hathaway. They're back, everyone.
Yeah! Catwoman.
Yeah.
Bring Halle Berry along too.
Yeah, fuck it.
But film her only by Pitof.
This is quickly deteriorating, Paul. I think we should speak about our ideas before we just, riff on them in front of everyone, in front of the kind listeners at home here.
Each of the directors direct their Catwoman. And when it's all three of them together, all three directors have to jostle with their cameras. All right, watch out. Look out, you fucking overrated hack. Oh, that's a bit strong. Imagine a French prick getting in my way. I think it goes a bit something like this.
And a curly-haired ponce.
Yeah, we don't have
who doesn't know how to tell a story without a computer anymore.
Burn Tim Burton. I can't do a Tim Burton impression. I've not.
They should call you Tim Burton because of what I just did.
I'm Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, I don't know Tim Burton. All I can think is just nah. That's
how he looks. He looks like Bruce Dern. Take it away, Hans. I can't. I've got fucking Danny Elfman here.
I don't think he'd say Tim Burton. I think he'd kind of go Tim Burton.
Now you're putting a kind of David Lynch twist on it of just hi everyone.
Like a high-pitched, less gravelly David Lynch.
I'm one of the most respected filmmakers who ever lived. I love David Lynch's voice. I wouldn't change it for the world.
It's amazing. It's as intoxicating as Werner Herzog's.
Oh god, the two having a conversation with each other would just be it'd be like whatever's after ASMR. BN. What's after S? Shit. Nah, wasn't smart enough to make that work. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, gang.
BNTS.
BNTS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bunts. No, David Lynch, you're saying it wrong. Bunts. Shut up, Tim Burton.
So good for me. Now, that was a segment of our show that I can't remember which one it was. So let's just move on to the next bit.
One better thing.
One better thing. The one better thing. Alright, Paul, how can people find out about the one good fucking thing?
You can get through to us on Twitter and Facebook and that ledge that we stand on when it's night and we think no one can see us. OGTpod, that's how you do it. / at all the things. Send us an email at gmail, ogtpod@gmail.com. You can subscribe on iTunes, Podbean, YouTube and Stitcher. And if you haven't already, do it! And if you haven't left us a review, do it!
Do it!
And do a good one. Do it.
Do it.
Thanks so much for listening. We're getting so close to 100, everyone.
My god, we're close. I cannot wait. All right. Well, thank you very much for listening to Gong, Deeper and Down. I'm Paul Salt.
I'm Deeper Underground.
Remember, the one good thing about Jamiroquai's Godzilla 1998, but also Catwoman, coincidentally, is that sometimes it falls off a ledge and looks really funny as it's doing it.